it's just an addiction that you have to, fix, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But writing songs with your buddies, that's one of the big things. And for Do Your Art, our last record, some songs didn't make it on the list. Oh, sorry, make it on the record, sorry.
Yeah.
And so I always look at that as two things. One, if you're writing a record, if it's like a menu, like if you're a cook and you're
Hmm.
writing like a French cuisine and someone comes in with like a really, really great lasagna, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You, wait, can I, can I have a question. Did it
Yeah.
just start recording?
No, we're good. It was the video did. If
Oh,
that's all right. You're good.
I wanted to stop and make sure you weren't in a tragedy and I was just hammering on.
No, we're good. We're
Okay.
good. The I got the audio. We're good.
Okay, cool. So, if you're making a French cuisine and your buddy comes in with the best tasting lasagna, sometimes you have to be like, it's maybe not right for this record, this menu. And so some of the songs that didn't make it on the last record, absolutely, they steered this record. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And for one example, Whiplash. Whiplash we had for Do Your Art, but we just didn't hear it on the record. But then we went guns blazing with it. It started the record, to go back
Yeah.
to that song. And Joe Gittleman, the bass fiddleman of the Mighty Mighty Boss Zones, and who's produced some of our records, he told us during Strictly Rude, he goes, guys, don't worry too much if a song doesn't make the record, because it should make the next record or another
Yeah.
record. And if it doesn't make any records, well, then maybe you got to work on the song a little bit.
That's a good perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
And
so it was real funny, real quick, because like
yeah.
we said that during Do Your Art, and we said it, and then when we came back to do the good old American Saturday Night, we saw us doing what we preached. Like we did what we promised each other. Like,
Yeah.
so it was cool.
Hell yeah, man. That's great. So you mentioned Strictly Rude with Joe Gilman, who had produced that a little bit. So Strictly Rude just hit 19 years old, and that really was that was a staple album in my life, and just like noise complaints, shining on, where I'm always playing. I just remember I used to have this old purple Lincoln Mark 8, and I had the windows down and Big D and the kids table bumping.
Yes,
So, and it's hard to think like that was 19 years ago. Like
I
that
know,
is, dude, it just
but
goes so quick.
that's good to hear, because literally when I personally write a song or something, I always think of listening to it in a car,
Yeah.
because all my favorite or like groundbreaking moments, like as a teen or whatever, is like being in the back of a Honda or like a Volvo, someone up front playing something I've never heard before, and just sitting back there with it so loud and just experiencing it and going, whoa. And those have always been my pinnacle listening moments. So that's
Hmm.
that's what I always try to go for.
Yeah. You definitely nailed the one. Nailed the hammer on the head or whatever,
Yeah.
however it goes in that one. But yeah,
Yeah.
Strictly Rude is really good. I do love that album, and I really like the new single too, Whiplash. I'm listening to it a few times, spinning it, and kind of talk about that one. Why is this like you talked about the background? It's a song that you've had before, and now it's this first single for the album. Like, what makes this one special?
Well, it's this song. That's a good question, because I have an answer. A couple things about this song. So, mostly Big D likes to write songs together. We're not really a band that often you're like, I have a finished song and I'm going to teach you how to do it. And you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
but that happens. That happens as well. I mean, all different ways. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But this song was pretty much, like figured out. Ben, the bass player, of course, came and was just like, "Here's I have this song," and then we're all open. We do arrangement changes, and we try to make sure everybody likes the taste of the sandwich.
Yeah.
So we learned this song. We really loved it. We did it in this room actually, and then after, while we were kind of hanging out, like cleaning up, Ben had told me this story about a past romantic situation that had happened to him. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so immediately my brain is just going, brrr, and I'm like, well, then that story is now going on the lyrics to that song, because you always, as a lyricist, I always, because I come from drums first, and drumming,
Okay.
like that's my principal instrument. When you're a drummer, you're kind of like the belly gunner or the tail gunner for your captain, and the captain's like your singer or guitar player, singer guitar player.
Mhm.
And so you always try to, do well by them. But now that I'm a lyricist singer, I still try to do well by the other band members. I want them to, I'm not just going to selfishly talk about what I want to talk about without thinking about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, I wanted to take his story and give him some sort of avenge him, or,
Mhm.
tell the story. And so then his story, and then the song he brought to the kids table, was put together. And yeah.
Awesome,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, and it was released today
Mm-hmm.
to unto the world. The music video as well accompanying it. Um, it's I the intro when I started listening to it, I was just like, huh, this could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then it picks up, and you get the horns, you get you get that big D sound. And I would
Yeah.
say
Well,
like,
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, where are you going to go? Because I have a story about that. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say like when thinking back to like Strictly Rude, and like kind of like not to compare them, but just to kind of be like how they've grown in over 19 years with the sound and stuff like that. I'd say it's got some Strictly Rude roots within
Yeah.
it, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that intro, though, strictly, is derived from what the Boss Stones used to always do to us for Devil's Night Out and More Noise. They would always do this, and Mr. Bungle does it quite a bit, where they set you up this groove and then they just
Mhm.
completely change it. And I've always loved that. And so we
Yeah.
talked about it. We were like, let's do a Boss Stones fake out and intro. And having Joe produce the record, it was
Yeah.
really funny because he's like, Joe has this really great way of of everything, but you'd go like this, Drew, the intro of Whiplash, and then stop, right? And so that makes you go, yeah, you, do you like it? You know what I mean? And he's just putting it on the table. And so we were like, well, Joe, I mean, we're kind of trying to do what you guys used to do. So there's nothing like telling the guy who's the honorary member of your band that you love from your hometown. Well,
Right.
we're still inspired by you, even though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love me some Mighty Mighty Boss Tones as well.
Mm.
They're an amazing band live. I've had the honor of seeing Big D and the Kids Table twice, but it's been some time. I saw a Warp Tour one time, and
Mm-hmm.
then because I'm in Wisconsin, so like Milwaukee area, and
Yeah.
I saw you play at the rave. It was like the most like diverse show I think I've ever been to, because you played and then Alexis on Fire played.
Oh,
And
totally. That tour was awesome.
yeah, dude, and that show was a lot of fun. I really do enjoy Alexis on Fire too, but I'm like, we're getting all the gambit here, and it was
Yeah.
it was
It's
that
and
was
Righteous Jams was on that tour.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. But yeah, that was my first real experience with Big D and the Kids Table. And
It's a good
I
tour.
remember coming home, and like there's that song about girls against drunk bitches. I gotta listen to that one again and check
What
it out.
what a title.
Hey, it was good. And so yeah, that was you played like LAX. I would imagine that was Strictly Rude was around then too. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was dude, it was a fun time, and it's a band like you've been around for so long. Like how do you kind of navigate that? Because this is like, this isn't your like a sophomore album or anything like that. Like you've had multiple records come out. How do you like approach it? Do you kind of approach each one the same, or is it like we're gonna try to do something different on this one, or is it if it sounds good, it's good?
Well, the band started when I was 17 years old. So
Yeah.
I was straight up teenager. And, anybody from my old high school knows that, when you're like in high school and you're getting your senior, and, your high school days are, sunsetting, and all your
Yeah.
teachers and your parents' friends keep asking you that same question of like, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And I just kept saying the same thing because it was all I could ever see. And I was like, I'm just going to be in a band. I'm just just going to be in a band. And remember, I'm not saying successful band. I'm not saying like some people are like, I'm going to be, like
Yeah.
I just knew that there wasn't any other, choice. I mean, I'm just addicted to it. And
Mhm.
so what brings us back is just being, we went, a lot of us went to Berkeley. So,
Nice.
there is a difference between, it's important to know there's a difference between people who want to do music and have a goal to be like the biggest band in the world, and
Right.
then people who are musicians and just want to play music. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so that's always just been us. You know what I mean? And then you write songs differently for those goals. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you want to be, if popularity is your main goal, then you write songs to that ends. So the band always never really worried about that. So we're just comfortably. We always make the joke. We're comfortably in the middle. To a big
Yeah.
band we're small, and to a small band we're big.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, and all my heroes aren't in huge bands like Yako from Melt Banana or Jet from Sam Black Church. Like
Yeah.
these my heroes aren't pop artists. So it really just is, every approach to a record is just loving music, always trying to, like, let's say you have main songwriters and some of the
Mhm.
other guys aren't writing songs, like they're just not really, we always try to encourage them. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on,
Yeah.
Dan Stoppman, trumpet player, come on, write a song, write a song. And then, he brings Steady Riot. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Awesome. Yeah.
And, maybe Dan doesn't write 100 songs, but he wrote Steady Riot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so we're always doing that, because that's just the organic, hippie, beautiful love thing of being in a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we kind of approach every record the same, except, um, for Strictly Dub, it was strictly dub music, and
Mhm.
Strictly Rude, after How It Goes, was supposed to be strictly ska songs.
Mm.
And funny enough, all the songs on the record Beijing to Boston,
Yeah.
that's a split we did,
Mhm.
with Brain Failure from China. Those songs were a part of Strictly Rude's songs before
Okay.
anything was titled, so it was still more of like another How It Goes. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like it
Yeah.
was still was classic Big D with punk and ska, intertwined.
Yeah.
But something happened. Ken Casey asked us to do that split, so we had so many songs that we went, well, why don't we just take all the punk songs and put it with this punk band, and we'll just strictly do Roots ska songs for the Side One Dummy thing. So but that wasn't writing. All the songs were already written. We were just
Mhm.
assigning where the kittens go. Like you go there and you go
Yeah.
there. So usually we just go in with us. What's kind of neat about being us is no matter what you do, it still comes out you. Like even if
Yeah.
we try to do something, like if we said let's write a Tim Armstrong song, like
Mhm.
that so people, it still wouldn't sound like it would just sound like us.
Yeah. That's
You know what I
amazing.
mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. And I do agree. Like a lot of people, there's artists out there that are out there to be an artist, to be artists that are famously known and selling out arenas and stuff. But um, in my experience, going to shows and talking to bands and listening to bands, is your approach is like really like the authentic. This is where you get like true creativity. You can take these risks and usually they pay off, and it's also like your authentic self. Whereas it's not pandering
Yeah,
to
yeah.
anything.
Well, and what's really good for exactly, and what's really good for musicians to hear is you really don't want to play music you don't like, because it can become quite a Twilight Zone or that TV show Black Mirror, where
Yeah.
now you're playing 220, 250 shows a year on stage playing songs you don't like. I mean, for a musician,
Hmm.
that's tough. That's like marrying someone you don't like. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys have always been definitely your authentic self, at least as a spectator and a person who listens to the music, which I do greatly appreciate.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah. So you've been with Side One Dummy then for quite some time then, because the new one's coming out with them as well, right?
Yeah, we're so lucky that, pretty much our catalog was just us and them. Obviously, Asian Man Records put out Good Luck and really got our ball rolling. And we, as people say, we, owe everything to, Mike Park being the first person to take us to the dance, say, yeah, or choose us for his team. You know what I mean? And that can be a hard thing, and we appreciate that about Side One too, like Big D has definitely been the underdog or the bench sitter for the ska scene. And so whenever a coach, if you will, not to take the analogy too far, allows us to get off the bench and play the game, we're elated,
Yeah, absolutely. And for like to have a record label, hopefully that isn't going to just be like, no, you can't do this or you can't do that. Like, yeah, you have your freedom to do that.
They're so nice. They're very nice to us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do love Asian Man Records as well. I'm always watching Mike Park on Whatnot, trying to sell his record collection from time to time. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could buy that.
Check this out real quick with Asian Man and Mike Park it's like 1998 or something. And Mike Park fronts Big D plane tickets to go to Europe for the first time, England, UK, and Europe.
Yeah.
And which leads, this is like when the ska scene is starting to like end in the US, the emo scene is launching. And it allowed us to go to England and Europe, but mostly England, but even Europe, and make a name for ourselves, join household name records in England, who have all these great bands who are our friend. But that became our home. So like, even though we were around doing things in the US, we were really, most of our roots were being like nourished in England. And that was, our scene. And just the fact that Mike Park, a ska band, he didn't find a 3-piece. He like 8 guys, 8 plane tickets. And you just don't see that. It's just kindness and in him believing in us. I mean, that's a financial burden.
Yeah.
But he did it.
That's awesome. Amazing. Yeah, he seems like he really seems like a music lover, and like, if you got something good, like he's gonna take care of it, and he does, which is awesome.
And still does it.
It's crazy. He's still working hard. You kind of mentioned, the ska scene kind of fizzling out at a point in time. In my kind of experience now, there's been a little bit of a resurgence in the love for ska, which I love, because I'm 35. I was born in 90. So I kind of missed the big first kind of like Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, Big D era where people are like getting pumped. And, I was in high school when I started listening to a lot of these bands, and they would come around and I'd go see them now. But now, like, I feel like it's kind of vibing back, which I'm happy about.
Well, it's definitely, I mean, this is what I think about that. One joke is that, Big D, the 90s ska scene was like a party, right? Of course. And by the time Big D figured out the address of the party and we went in there, it had already gotten bussed up by the cops, and we got in there and we were just like, what's going on? I thought there was a party here, right? So we did get in the house and we saw some of the passed out people, but we didn't get to party. You know what I mean? Like, and so, as Bad News Records coined it, new tone, maybe, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, like, Kill Lincoln and, all these awesome bands. It is more, for Big D, it is more of a lovely thing than people can ever understand. Cause I don't know if you ever watched Game of Thrones, and I kind of forget, but like there was the Watch, like these guys would go to this tower and do the Watch. And we felt once, the new scene of ska started blossoming, that our watch was over. We really took it seriously during the dead time of ska to be like, no, we believe in this. And we would even intentionally, like we were talking about writing songs, we would I would intentionally like go, wait, we need this groove because like the people haven't had this groove. Like there's so many different grooves in ska, rock steady, I mean, everything. So we'd be like, we have to do this pocket because what if people don't have it? Do you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
by the time this new resurgence of ska came, I do think we got to put our shoulders down and be happy with ourselves and go, we really held the flag for a really
Yeah.
long time. And now I think everyone's pretty sorted out.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, even in Wisconsin, there was a festival called Scopelton in Appleton, Wisconsin. I think Big D has played it, perhaps. I don't know.
Probably. I'm the guy
Um,
who always, at this point, I kind of starting to
forget.
forget the name. Everything's called the furnace. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
But it did go away, and now I think it's coming back this year for the second year, and I'm like, hell yes, let's get back to it. Like,
Yeah.
I can throw a knee brace on and get dancing with the rest of them and have a good time.
Well, here's my American joke about ska, and that's, when you have friends at work or something, or like family
Mhm.
members, and they're like, "Oh, what's up?" And they go, "Oh man, I just got back. They go on these vacations, right?
Right.
They leave their life and they go on these vacations, and on these vacations, all the music is ska and reggae and like rock
Mhm.
steady, and you know, meaning at these resorts or these
Sure.
beaches and these places that they go. Then they come back and they go, "Oh man, oh, I don't even know what to tell you. I needed that." And you're like, you can listen to this music when you're home.
Right.
You don't have to travel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's readily available
Yeah.
at any time. Um, but I'm happy. I'm happy you got the new record coming out.
Mm.
Um, are there any so after the release in this summer, is there any like tour plans, or you just kind of like seeing how things go and
Well,
going from there?
everything annoyingly had to go with my silly cancer schedule.
Yeah.
Because when you have that, we won't talk about it too much because it's drag, but
Right.
they keep you on the ropes, like, oh, we have 3 more months, 3 more months, three
Sure.
more months. So instead of canceling and making everybody do all this work,
Right.
like we only had to cancel one Mexico thing, which we were all jonesing to get to. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And then, cancel it, which you never want to do. You never want to, hurt promoters, poor promoters putting themselves out there and stuff.
Right.
But so we kind of got late in the game of being able to get you know, our horses out. So we're picking it up right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
Going with the flow. I'm looking forward to the new record. The new single Whiplash was a lot of fun, is a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
how can people kind of get a hold of everything you have going on? How can they are there pre-orders for the new record? What can they do to access these songs?
Yeah, I would say it's the first time being asked that. I would say, just go to Side One Dummy and Big D's homes and get all the information there. One of the
Yeah.
best terms I ever heard was hear our podcast wherever you hear your podcasts. You know how they say
Yeah.
that?
Go to
However
that
you do
place.
it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring that to music. Like, I don't know, however you figure it out, figure it out.
Right. I mean, at this point, yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely like it's on the
Google
platforms. Like, yeah, Google
it.
it or do whatever you need to do to
But we
access
do
the music.
we will have a single this month, next month, the next month, and then the
Nice.
album comes out. And we have a lot of really cool videos coming out. Like, we're working with some really awesome people, and
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, I've seen a couple clips and I'm super, super, super happy. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. One last question. So like with the
Yeah.
singles, how do you go about determining what single goes out when or something like that?
Right. That's good. Yeah. And I was going to actually comment about this when we were talking about Whiplash before. Like, I, like, I love being at this point of my life because I know what I like. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But like, it's good to be sick of yourself. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, like with anything, if you're someone at my age or any age really, like I've experienced so many interesting things. Like, for instance, for Fluent and Stroll,
Yeah.
I remember a couple band members being like, "Describing the Sky is like the best song in the world. That's a song on the record."
Hmm.
And I remember liking it, but going, "Yeah, but I don't think it should be the single, right?"
Right.
Or like A Kiss a Week, right? But
Mhm.
then later you look back and you go, "Oh, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you just you grow into different things, you understand things differently." And so I don't take what I think too seriously. So, I remember we were talking about this, the band, and we were like, what should be the single? And we had like four contenders, if you will, but we really
Mhm.
like all the songs. That's the problem with Big D. Like, we really love every
Yeah,
song. You know what I mean?
that's
And
good.
because we're not trying to like make the charts,
Right.
there isn't like a, blah blah blah. But slowly, I think we were taking like not votes, but I think we were doing some sort of tally or votes. Slowly, Whiplash, and Whiplash wasn't. I love Whiplash, but nobody
Mhm.
loves what I like. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I understand I have a weirdness, and so Whiplash won, or Whiplash got to be the first single, and I'm so proud
Yeah.
because, like, do you know what I mean? It was just like when choices come, and not to take it back to like sports, but like, let's say you have all these different like players on the bench that are attractive in different ways. One's tall, one's muscular, one's this, one's that. It was the
Right.
scrappy motherfucking Whiplash that got chosen
Yeah.
first, and
Oh yeah.
I loved it's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome.
we kind of think about it, but we're down for whatever.
I love that, man. And I really like the new song too. It's a good one. It brings back so many just different memories and emotions of like,
Awesome.
this is
Awesome.
my ska. Like this is what I needed. So and I really appreciate you coming on the show when I saw the opportunity. Shout out to Mike. I was like,
Yeah, Mike's
yeah,
awesome.
dude. Like I was like, I absolutely want 100%. I was at my daughter's track meet and I was like, Mike, I gotta talk to I want to talk to them. Like
Yeah,
so
and you were the first.
the first. That's right. I appreciate it, man. Best of luck with everything. Make sure everyone is going out to listen to Whiplash and pick up the new album.
Thanks, Drew. I appreciate it.